And David, you're with us, David Sanchez?
I don't think you'll be able to hear him, but yes.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. All right. So let's see. Why don't Benjamin, do you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure.
Okay.
Mike, I think you have the flag, yeah?
Great.
Oh, wow, I like that virtual flag.
Okay, Benjamin.
All right. Ready? I pledge allegiance
To the flag
flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which
for which it stands, one nation, under God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty
liberty,
and
liberty,
justice for all.
for all.
Thank you, Benjamin. Tegan, can you still hear me, or am I still
No,
coming?
I've solved my sound problem. I can hear you all great.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, well, we should have a roll call then. Let me do that. So I'll call your name, the commissioner's name, and then perhaps you will be good enough to say present. Benjamin Tang, Joyita Ghosh. Joyita, are you present?
Yep, present. Can you hear
Very
me?
good. Sandeep Umarimi? Not present. Christina Driggers.
Present.
Hi,
And
Christina.
Hi, Carmen.
I know her mom really well.
And I'm present too. Now, we don't have any alternates at this point, and we've got a quorum, so let's move ahead. I'd like a motion for approval of the agenda. Can I have has everybody, or have you had a chance?
I'll motion to approve.
Very good.
Christina.
Thank you, Christina. And a second?
Aye.
That was Benjamin.
Yes.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any opposed? None. Very good. We come to approval of February 24th minutes. Has everybody had a chance to read those?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve them? Yeah.
Pardon me, Chair, I thought you had a correction that you wanted to make for the minutes.
Oh, I did. I'm so sorry. The attendance. Let's see. Now, the attendance should include Benjamin Tang because he was there, and it's not included right now. Other than that, I think everything is fine. So can I have a motion to approve?
John, can you call everybody's name individually and have them vote yay or nay? Because
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. So a motion to approve Benjamin,
Yay.
Did you,
Joyita,
I'm sorry, John, did I hear a second
Oh.
on the motion?
I'm not sure that we did, because Tegan jumped in on me.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Do we have a second for approving?
Aye.
I'll second.
Thank you. All right. So Joyita, you approve.
Yes.
All right. Benjamin,
Yes.
you approve. Christina,
Yes.
and I approve. John Ag approves. Very good. Actually, I have to admit to you that the Zoom virtual meeting is going much better than the ones we normally have in the conference room at City Hall. I think it's because Carmen's in a really good mood. I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I'm always in a good mood.
Now we can have,
Chat.
if we are traveling, we can have a Zoom meeting.
There you go. There you go. All right. Now we come to public forum. And I just have to read the standard here for the virtual. Those interested are invited to address the commission on any subject not on the agenda via the meeting public comments form available at www.ci.gov/edu/public-comment. The chair or designee will read the comments out loud at the meeting and be limited to 3 minutes or less. As an item not listed on the agenda, no response is required of the commission staff. However, commission members may request staff to add the item to a future meeting agenda. This public meeting will be led with professionalism, respect, and civility. So profanity and/or vulgar language will not be shared. Tegan, do we have any emails or?
We do not. I am monitoring it throughout the meeting and I will let you know, Chair, if we have anything, but right now, nothing.
Okay, all right. Okay, so now we have announcements, and I've got a couple of announcements. At the Rotarian meeting, actually at noon today, we got some interesting information from Bart Nunes, who indicated that Bart will be opened at the end of June. And when I asked him, are you talking about this June or next year? He said, no, it's actually this June. So it's good news for us because that means that as part of our work plan, we might begin to start talking about what we're going to do with the pedestrian overhead crossings on Montague. So that's good news. And when we get to the work plan, we can talk more about that. The other thing I wanted to mention is at the last meeting, which seems like years ago, doesn't it? I mean, so much has happened since then. We had a wonderful presentation by Daniel Tegu on Better Block and what we were going to do at end of April at Midtown. And I was excited because I think that would have given us an opportunity to do some very, very interesting things for a couple of days. Very artistic, cultural things. Well, we continued talking and negotiating and arranging and planning all the way through about the end of March, the first week in April. And then finally, I think because of what was happening and the indication that it was highly likely that the shelter in place would continue through April, Alex Andrade canceled the plan, and it's been furloughed at this point in time.
Can you repeat that again? I didn't hear that. Alex canceled what?
It's been canceled.
What's been canceled?
What I don't know from Alex, and I haven't had a chance to talk to him, and it's probably low on his priorities right now, is whether there's any interest by the team from Texas to work with us sometime in the future, and when that might be. So I don't know anymore, Carmen, unfortunately.
Okay. Is that for the Better Block? You're talking about the Better Block?
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Very sad.
It is sad, but actually, Joyita, we've got a work plan to talk about that starts in July. So, maybe we.
I don't think it's been canceled. I think it's just been postponed because we're putting a lot of work on him and his team for the subcommittee, the small business subcommittee. And, we're trying to throw a lifeline to a lot of these small businesses that are hurting. So I think that's what it is.
Yeah, no,
It'll come back.
Yes, I think it is important too. I think revitalizing Midtown is important.
Right.
But you're right. I mean, there are some priorities right now. So now we're on item 9 of the agenda, which was business items. We have, an opportunity to talk about where we go from here. Things have very dramatically changed from where we were on February the 24th. I, at that meeting, had suggested that each of you look at the work plan and try and, well, not try, but see where your talents and your interests might be best fitted so that we could complete the work plan for this current year ending in June. That's all gone by the by, from my standpoint. So what I'm suggesting we do, and perhaps we can start a dialogue tonight, is go through the work plan as it stands right now for this existing year and see whether there are any things that we can jump in and actually help or take some sort of action on. And we can do that line by line. But more importantly, be prepared to lift some of those actions across to the 2021 work plan. Now, in a way, this is good news and bad news. The good news, I think, is that we have a chance to not rewrite, certainly enhance with our own personalities and attributes what we do next year. And it's only around the corner. So has everybody got a copy of the present work plan?
Yeah.
Carmen, I'm not sure. Do you have one? Did you get a package?
No,
Okay.
but I'll just follow along with you guys.
I'm sorry.
No, I'll just go ahead and follow along with you guys. You guys are the main,
Okay.
the
All right.
main, the main
Okay.
squeeze.
Okay.
Mike, are you able to share that document?
You can send it to my personal email and I could just, do you have it?
I think
Online?
Mike's gonna share it for you.
Okay. Oh,
There you
okay,
go.
good. Thanks, Mike.
Sharing the screen.
Wonderful. Okay. All right. Well, then let's, and Tegan, we need some updates on this as we move down the line. But the first group there, the arts and cultural program, I mean, essentially at this particular point, we have only one, at the 24th, February the 24th meeting, we actually approved a grant for the Performing Arts Theater. Do you know what has happened since then with that grant?
Yes, I know that the group is interested in doing something, but of course with the current public health restrictions, they can't put on a production with performers close together.
Right.
It's kind of in limbo right now, but I know that they are interested when the public health order allows it.
So who is the group?
This is the Milpitas Children's Theater Alliance.
What?
Milpitas Children's Theater Alliance. So
Oh,
it's
our group. Okay.
uh-huh.
Okay, so I guess what we're saying there is that very little can happen until we get some clarification as to when shelter in place is lifted or when it's safe to go out. And so that just has to sit there. Is that a fair statement?
That's correct.
Okay. The Phantom Art Gallery.
Can I ask a question before you move on to the next one?
Of course.
How do you, so I guess to staff, how do you outreach to let other folks, other performers, other groups, cultural arts groups know that there are grants available?
So we do have information on the website, and we did email to the folks who we have contact information for, both previous renters and folks who've taken advantage of this program in the past. We are trying to get the word out about it, and I hope that when we return and we're able to
Yeah, hopefully
host
we can
things again, we
get back
can
to normal.
probably, yeah.
Yeah, If you can let me know what venues you did outreach to, that would be great.
Sure.
Thank you.
Even for the grant recipients, you have to be a Milpitas resident, right?
You don't have to be a Milpitas resident. What you need to do is be promoting something for Milpitas to enjoy and participate in. So obviously, you're the group that approves these grants, and I believe Milpitas organizations get priority, but as John mentioned, you've only had one grant request come before you this year. It did happen to be a Milpitas group, and you did approve it.
One more question. So do they have to be a nonprofit?
They are encouraged to be a nonprofit, but the Milpitas Children's Theater Alliance, as far as we know, has not received its nonprofit status yet. And a grant was given, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's a good question, Carmen. There's something maybe we should put on our list of things to discuss next for the next year, because there may be some opportunities to bring in some very talented groups, artists, musicians from San Jose through SV Creates, and they might be a professional.
I believe we've had other types of users take advantage of the program. It's not always been nonprofits.
Okay.
For-profit schools, I know for a fact they've done it.
Yeah. Are you ready to move on to the next section?
Yeah.
All right, Phantom Art Gallery. Now, this one, I guess, is really on hold. I mean, our galleries basically at this point are off premise. But I would, Carmen, because I know that you're on the board of that commission, the library commission, that I received a beautiful, a very nice phone call 2 days ago from Sierra, from the Milpitas Library, calling to make sure, in fact, that they were, even though they were still closed, but there are a lot of things that they could do to provide me of interest, asked how I was, et cetera, et cetera. Very pleasant young lady. In fact, I called back later and I thanked her because it was a very positive phone call. So that was nice to hear. But the library is closed, and so our opportunities to exhibit art presently is fairly limited. It is limited. The only question I have, Tegan, is for those that we had scheduled, are we keeping them informed so they know, so that when ready and when available, when the library opens, as an example, that we'll be able to shift their schedule and bring them on board?
Right, both the library and the Phantom Art Gallery at the community center had a few artists lined up, and we did notify them when we went on shelter in place that we would have to be in touch when we returned. Okay. And we obviously don't have anything to share with them yet as far as the date goes, but they do know that we are still interested in exhibiting their work, and we will contact them when we're able to schedule again.
Okay. Well, again, that's something that will go over to the new work plan, and hopefully in a few months we'll be able to start scheduling those. Does anybody have any questions on item Phantom Art Gallery? Okay, let's move on to public art installations. Let's see. The first item is already done. My only question there is, because I go over to Higuera Park on a regular basis, is I just want to see that sculpture up.
Right. The artist is working on that, but we aren't anywhere near installing it yet. We were originally hoping to install in the fall. I don't know if how far that'll get pushed back
Yeah.
as a result of this.
Mhm.
My guess is it might be spring.
Yep. Okay. And the next step was the specifications for the pedestrian overcrossing on Montague. And that is something I think that perhaps we can get involved in momentarily. That I'm not quite sure how to go about that. Do we talk with VAT, the VTA, or how do we?
I think, can I mention, I think that's already been a done deal because I think there was somebody dropped the ball. Okay, what happened, that bridge and the architect, the whole art was already discussed at way back when Jose Estevez was the mayor and city council. So when a new council came in and Jose was out, somehow the communication with VTA went away, or somebody dropped the ball. And so VTA had already planned on putting just like a simple bridge without any art at all. So when I found out, I approached Steve McCarris and I said, that's not right, because we had made recommendations. I mean, VTA came and did a presentation, and the city council made all kinds of nice recommendations, what we wanted to see in there. And, things change as new council members come in, or new city managers come in. And I think that's what happened. There's a new city manager, the old one went out. So a lot of information got lost. And so VTA didn't do what they were supposed to do, or what we had recommended. And they did their own thing. And so when Steve McCarris came in, he told them they had to put some art. They couldn't, the budget was already, and the money was already spent or prioritized somewhere else. So he was able to put some kind of art. It's not what the previous council had wanted, but it's something. And I don't really know what it is. And perhaps maybe Tanya, do you know exactly what that art is? So I don't think that the Arts Commission has a say so anymore, because it's already like 3/4 of the way. They're already building it.
So my understanding is that the actual overcross, yes, it has some artistic features. That's what they're calling it, is artistic features rather than artwork. And we don't have the option on that. However, the two pillars that are on either side of the street that support the bridge, my understanding is that we can do art on those. So it would be pedestrian level, sidewalk level artwork, but it's probably limited to the kinds of artwork that you could put on a flat wall surface.
Okay.
So
Better than nothing.
Yeah, Carmen, I had heard the same story related to VTA, but what I understood was that they've already committed to the art on the outside of the pedestrian crossing that's visible.
Right.
Yeah, but I think the inside, the walkway itself and the two, what do you call them, the rises on both sides of the freeway, we could do something with, but I don't know where the money is coming from.
Well, it'll come from your art fund.
Okay.
Whatever.
right.
So you're gonna have to decide how much. We're gonna have to look. How much money do you have? How much money is? How much? What do you want to do? And how much is it gonna cost? And then that's when you decide what you want to do.
Okay. All right. Then my inclination is to suggest that at our next commission meeting, we talk a little bit. We get Tegan to give us maybe we can even get something from BTA giving us some schematics of what the bridge will look like, and get some ideas as to how we can, what we can
Oh,
do.
that's a good idea, yeah. Have them come and do a presentation.
Yeah.
Put them on the spot.
Yeah.
Can a mural be made over there? Can we ask a
Yes.
mural artist to make something really, popping, really striking? Because a lot of people are going through that area.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
it's another entryway into Milpitas. So yes, I think it's,
Yeah.
That's
You know, our liaison is council member, Vice Mayor Nunez to the BTA. He might you might want to talk to him or invite him to a commission meeting, and maybe he can pull some strings.
okay.
You never know.
Got it.
Yeah, we
All right.
saw San Jose is looking just incredibly beautiful. With they've done a lot of really beautiful stuff under the underpasses of bridges and murals, and it's
Oh, the
just,
Berryessa one?
no, downtown San Jose.
Oh,
Now because it's so empty, you're seeing all the artwork very
Yeah.
clearly.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Quite beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are enhancing the cultural aspects too of the city.
Yeah. And I was thinking, what would be the cultural aspect of Milpitas? Is it that we are kind of the epicenter of Silicon Valley? I mean, that should be an important thing to, talk about.
Absolutely.
we're the gateway.
You're with the gateway.
Gateway.
It's a good question. In fact, actually, I have a question for Carmen a little later, but we are talking about, or at least I believe the city staff are working on branding for Milpitas. So it would be very nice if we could also be involved in that.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be part of your work plan, is to prioritize what you want to see in the city, where, what, and figure out how much it's going to cost, and then you make a presentation to the council about what you want to see. But I do agree with, I'm sorry, I forgot your name, about the murals. We need more murals in this. We need to spruce up this town with art.
Yes.
Rita.
In all 4 sections, north, south, east, and west.
Yes. We have enough traffic problems where people are just sitting and doing nothing. They can look at the murals.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I
Moving
also
on.
want a lit up street like University Avenue. Can we have that?
Say that one again. I'm sorry.
Can we have a lit up street like University Avenue, like permanent?
Oh.
You could make that recommendation. I think the mayor had wanted something like that, some kind of neon light somewhere. I think he said on Calaveras. So,
Or even
Yeah.
McCarthy, where all the eating area is. That's so busy. It would be pretty there.
yeah.
Well, I'm pushing for Midtown. So one way or the other, we're going to do some things for the city. Where are we now? Prioritize and calendar all public art installation locations. And this is really what you're talking about, Carmen.
What's that? Sorry.
It's the fourth item down. Prioritize and calendar all
Oh,
public
yeah,
art installation
Yeah.
locations.
Yeah, that's the nitty gritty right there.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Make presentations to local companies. Now, Christina, I don't know whether I haven't heard much from you, Christina. So.
I'm listening and taking notes, but actually I had assigned myself the last 2 and then the first one under City Public Art Collection at our last meeting. I had put myself on identify at least 2 additional prospective locations, and then the prioritize and calendar, and then not the next one, but the one after that.
Okay.
I think those are the 3 that I assigned myself.
Okay. So we're gonna, you have no objections to continuing with that, that commitment?
No, and I have a me/John.
That's fine. Fine. I think Robin suggested that, I think, Christina.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, the next one then is the next section is City Public Art Collection. And this one's a little bit of a challenge when, again, we're in shelter in place. And Tegan, maybe you can explain to the commission what you and I discussed earlier, but there is no one place where we have summarized all of the art that is presently in the city. And I'm not sure how we go about it in our present situation, but do you have any suggestions on how the commission can get involved in that?
Yes, a lot of that though is typically a staff level in most cities. What we need is probably the information gathered into a database that would allow us to easily keep track of what types of maintenance the pieces need and when they were last maintained, that kind of thing. I think that would be helpful to the commission as it determines each year what is in need of maintenance. Typically, cities do maintain things as they become damaged somehow, but a best practice would be to maintain them all the time. And if you do a small amount of maintenance regularly, just like if you do a small amount of maintenance on your car regularly, it prevents the larger damage often from occurring.
Right.
So I think that is definitely something that is at least coming up with the databases. Once we're out of shelter in place, it's something that's doable. It's something that we probably ought to do to maintain and take care of the collection that the city has already invested in.
So who within administration, which department basically would have most of that information at this point? Would it be Public Works?
No, it's probably our department. It's tracking down contracts and photographs of artworks when they're new. At some point, you probably would like to have artworks professionally assessed to understand, not just from a visual aesthetic standpoint, but from a structural standpoint, how the artwork is doing and what is necessary to keep it in good repair. I, at a previous city, went through the process of having the collection assessed, and then that's very helpful for the commission going forward to kind of keep track of stuff.
Would it make any sense? I didn't realize until fairly recently that we have 34 parks in Milpitas, but I'm up to 22 that I've actually visited at this point. And would it make any sense to list what is visible, what is seen in these parks, and provide a scratch list, at least to start, of what we've seen as commission members?
Sure. Yeah.
I like that project. I mean, I couldn't believe that we had 34 parks. So, all right. Okay. Well, I think what we'll do is I'll come up with some wording for that. But I think maybe for the new work plan, I'll add that one to the list.
So that's doing an assessment.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's just really identifying what we've seen, what we see.
Well, since chairperson is, since you're already out there, you should just go ahead and jot down what you see, what you think,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
take
No,
pictures.
exactly.
It could be any commission member, actually. It doesn't have to be staff. And then you can do maybe designate, okay, this commission do this park, and you know, and take pictures and make an assessment. I
Yep.
mean, that way it'll get done quick. You don't have to wait for staff.
Carmen, I agree. In fact, that's what I was suggesting. The only thing is, in certain instances, we probably will need to get a conservator in, or somebody with that sort of
You
experience.
mean a professional?
Yeah, yeah. But that comes later. Let's find out where it all is first. Okay. So now we have the Performing Arts Program, Public Awareness Campaign for Performing Arts. Well, again, that is something that I think we can light a fire under the community when things are open, and I'm hoping that there will be opportunities to use the stage, the new portable stage. And I guess I can put you on the spot, Tegan. There's perhaps a potential, well, actually, Carmen, you could help me too, a potential for locating an amphitheater, or potential for an amphitheater in the near future. And if that's the case, I think.
Yeah, we've been talking about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're going, go ahead.
Is that coming up for the next council meeting? Do you know? Is that?
More than likely, because next meeting we'll be discussing the budget. So
Okay.
keep tuned in.
Okay. All right. Can we move up? Can we move the? I think that's it, isn't it? Is that the last item on the?
There might be a second page to that work plan.
All the filmmaking.
Mhm.
Oh yes, and that was really at the time, that was really one commissioner's hope, suggestion, and intent, but that commissioner is no longer with us. And I wonder, is there anybody that would be interested in stepping forward and being involved in that? Or can we replace it with something else which is more in line with your individual attributes? Benjamin.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm asking you because I haven't heard very much from you.
I could probably ask one of the teachers from San Jose State, see if they're interested in hosting one of like the films they're making in class.
Yeah, it's a major project. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. I think at least I'm leaning towards suggesting that we replace that with something else totally. And as Carmen pointed out, Better Block has been
Postponed.
And so maybe Better Block is something we could all be involved in and include that in the next year's work plan.
Sounds good.
Joyita?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Christina?
Yes, that sounds good. And wasn't that one, that was the project that was it Danny? What was his name?
Daniel Daker.
Daniel Tager.
Yeah, somebody was working on that. So
Right.
yeah, that's
Right.
That's-
So let me talk with Alex about whether it makes any sense for us to take on a contributing role in that whenever it happens. And my guess is that by let's say this time next year, we could be considering having an event there. Let's hope that's the case.
I'm sure it will.
I hope so.
So can I make a suggestion?
Absolutely.
So when you say Milpitas Film Festival, So what comes to my mind is the, what is that one called? The sun, that one that the sunrise, Sun Film Festival, that
Sundance Film Festival.
Sundance, there you go. It was something sun. The Sundance Film Festival. But these are professionals that, you know, do really like, I'm talking about like movie festivals.
Yeah.
Perhaps you might want to do a video, Milpitas Video Festival, because everybody has their cell phone, and you know, perhaps doing
a good idea.
something like that instead of film, because film, it's like a Sundance type of thing, you know, the professionals. And I know that takes a lot of money, huge, you know, like Los Angeles, Hollywood type. But you know, everybody has a cell phone. They could make you know, create some like videos, because now people do, they use their cell phone, they create YouTube videos. So, you know,
It's a great idea.
I think something that's not so expensive, and it's doable, and you get a lot of kids. The whole community is involved. It's not just professionals. It's everybody, the whole community, because a lot of those students, well, high school students, will probably love doing something.
Yes, the high school students.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, just food for thought. You don't have to think.
No.
You can just put it for next time.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. We talked a little bit about each of these sections here, and I'm wondering whether the Mike Liu will be good enough with Tegan to work with us on having another Zoom meeting before the end of this fiscal year, which would be, I think, around June the 29th would be our normal meeting time. And between now and then, I'll review what we've discussed and come up with a modified suggested work plan or wording for work plan. I might need some coaching from Tegan. Tegan, I know that you're overworked right now, but I'll do most of the work. And we have another meeting on June the 29th or thereabouts to basically thrash out the details and make sure that we feel comfortable with what we're saying, suggesting. Sandy, good to see you. Unmute yourself.
Yes, I came a little bit late, 5 minutes late, and yeah, I've been hello, yeah. So I was about to ask you a question, as you mentioned that next month let's have another Zoom meeting, and in last meeting we discussed that we learned something from previous year, that our plan was not ready on time, and we want to have a plan ready so that for next fiscal year, things can move in a little different way.
Right.
So are we going to discuss about that, because we are pretty much nearing the end of this fiscal year, and any plan of action for that?
Yeah, your sound is a little echoing, so it's hard for me to understand everything you're saying. But I think what your question was is that at the last meeting we talked about the work plan that we had for the 1920 work plan was approved, I think, finally late last year, and so it didn't make sense that half of the year had already elapsed. And so, yes, you're right. And my real interest was coming up with, if we could, a work plan effective June the 1st. Excuse me, July the 1st. Now that won't necessarily happen, because I don't know what's going to happen, because July, typically everybody, even council members, are away and there are no council meetings. But I feel that if we were to push hard for coming up with a work plan in the early August timeframe that we could submit to council, that would be quite an accomplishment. And I see no reason why we can't do that. But I do think that if we're going to do that, we do need to meet one more time between now and the end of June. Hopefully Carmen will be available at that time too, to give her 2 pennies worth.
You got to call me up. Because sometimes I get so busy. Can I ask something on your work plan? How many of those items that you wanted to do did you accomplish?
Very, very few. Very
Well,
few. Because
maybe you ought to just, because you have a lot on there, maybe you ought to just hone in on just a couple of them. So that way, you know, prioritize what, because you have a lot on there. And maybe that's what you ought to do. I don't know. It's up to you guys.
I think,
Like what's doable, or maybe assess it. What's doable? What can be done? What's going to take long?
you know, we've got given the current shelter in place, we're sort of hamstrung. My feeling is that, well, this is my opinion, and I'm pleased anybody else speak up. We could say goodbye to the work plan as it presently stands for this current year. There's very little we can really do to accomplish anything there, other than have a good dialogue and set things in motion eagerly, energetically, come the start of the next fiscal year. And we've got fresh faces. I should add that not only did we have a late approval on the work plan, or delayed approval on the work plan, but actually we had a significant transition of commissioners. Some of the commissioners that we had before are no longer with us, and we had a lot of fresh faces actually in February. So there was an orientation step here too, Carmen. So my suggestion is that we work hard and conscientiously on a new work plan, and take a deep breath and have one ready to submit to council early in the new fiscal year. That's my suggestion.
But it sounds to me like you're just kind of, oh, this year's over. I don't know, but you gotta ask the rest of the members, what do they want? What do they want to see?
Well, I
mean, I'm respectfully asking.
let's do that. I mean, okay, Sandeep, where do you feel on this?
Yeah, basically, if we think from opening up the economy, I do believe that it would be early July. And with that, when we talk about arts, we're talking about engagement of the community, and we have a lot of restriction on that front. So I agree with your suggestion that a lot of things that are listed in existing work plan are a little difficult to achieve, knowing that we won't be able to go out in public. So it would be a good idea if we can start a clean plan and work towards next.
What would you prioritize out of all those plans, those goals? Which one would you prioritize? What's important to you?
So for me,
for the community,
based on what I understand in today's meeting, one of the priority is the bridge that connects to Milpitas BART, because that will be very time sensitive. And as we discussed, that gives, it is like a gateway to Milpitas, one of the gateways to Milpitas. So from my perspective, that would be high priority, highest priority, knowing the items that I have.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, next.
Joyita?
So I think, like, since everything is closing up for this fiscal year, we can adopt a few things that we are really liking in this last year's plan. And like Carmen mentioned, we hone in on that and actually make it happen. So perhaps, I really like the idea of you finding out more areas to put artwork. So that could be a big plan for next year, because it's not going to happen quickly. Finding a sculptor or finding an artist or getting the mural done, all of that will take time. So we could probably, hone in on that. And at the end of 2021, that year, it'll be a great achievement to see something achieved, like real beautification of some areas. So that is something we can really focus on for the next year.
Okay. Carmen, when your suggestion was that we try and do something in the 1920 work plan between now and the close of the fiscal year. Is that my understanding?
Well, my question to the commission is, what do you want to prioritize? Because last year you didn't. Last year, I guess you said the reason why things didn't get done was because of the timing of the work plan. So there goes 1 year. So I'm just saying, to be prepared, focus on 1 or 2 things from your work plan, but from those areas. Like, for example, the commissioner's right on, that bridge is time sensitive. You wanna be in there while it's being built. I mean, not in there, but you want to have some say so.
Yeah.
And to me, that would be a priority because it's time sensitive, as he mentioned. So,
Okay.
But yeah, get a feedback from the commissioners. What do they want to see? And I like the idea about the murals. So that way you can start setting up who you want to hire as a muralist.
Okay, Carmen, I'm sorry. So you actually say prioritize and focus in on 1 or 2 items for next year. And just, I misunderstood you. I thought you were suggesting that between now and the end of June, that we try and do something with this, whatever we have. But we do have the pedestrian crossing, and we can start that. And we could, I think, maybe get some activity or even a presentation from VTA or somebody next meeting on the 29th, which would be a great kickoff.
Yeah, because you got May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. We got that's almost half a year. So you could focus on that bridge, the pillars.
Got it. Yep. Yep. All right. Christina, did you want to throw your 2 pennies worth in here?
Well, I agree with most of what everybody said about the bridge and the pedestrian crossing. I was going to bring that up. And I also would like to put on there the 680 Calaveras, the underpass there for murals, and kind of, I think we spoke about that.
Yes.
It's been quite some time.
Yeah.
We're all looking at all those kind of, the sidewalk art and all that kind of stuff, but that kind of fell through when we, lost the big group of people. So,
Christina, you're talking about by the library there?
Well, we had multiple locations picked out, but the underpass that I'm talking about is 680 in Calaveras by North Part Victoria and South Part Victoria, closer to that end.
Yes.
Because we had talked about that. It's been a long time. Like I said, I don't remember how long ago it was, but when we were discussing the sidewalk art, at the parks, we'd like to see, little figures on the ground in the dog parks and at the skate park and all those kind of things, all those sidewalk art things.
Okay.
I think we should still consider looking at that. And then someone mentioned about lights. I don't know if we have any say about doing like the market lights kind of down, like our main, like Calaveras or something. I don't know if we have any say about that kind of stuff. That'd be an easy, at least I think it's easy, quick kind of improvement on the way the street looks for any of our major thoroughfares. But I don't know if that's going to
You
be.
make recommendations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tegan, you wanted to say something.
I was just gonna say, I don't unfortunately think that streetscape is in the purview of the commission. I think,
I didn't think.
yeah, what you are able to award funds for and make recommendations for is work that's constructed by artists. So unless you were to be recommending artist-built lights, I think that would probably fall under some other area of the city, would be planning or something.
That's a good idea. We could find out someone who creates artistic lights.
Well, they did it on the Bay Bridge, didn't they?
Yeah, you know, I've seen some bridges that have the tiles. Have you seen that? Those bridges, they're not big, the huge bridges, but little crossover bridges. And what they do is they put tiles, really decorative tiles on the side of the bridge, you know, the walkway. It looks really nice.
Very nice, yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Then I think we've made some headway on the brainstorming session, and I ask everybody please to remember everything they've said and suggested, so that when we get to packaging this between now and June, that we'll have something that we can present early in August to the council. Is there anything else that anybody would want to add on that? No.
From the topic that we discussed about pedestrian bridge, the other thing I would consider is maintenance of public art. That is something we can also start working on while we have this restriction on going out and meeting, because like we can ask for proposals and start evaluating that if that topic is of concern.
Sandra, maintenance of the.
So let me check. I'm just going through the agenda. And there was one point where we discussed about maintenance of public art.
Mhm.
And calendar, all, oh, no, not that. Just like,
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I've got the wording here. Recommend maintenance process for city-owned public art.
So it is from City Public Art Collection, review existing city-owned public art for maintenance, repair, and needs. It's a second from bottom on page 1. So that is something that we can also start working while we have restrictions of shelter in place. We don't have to go out and meet and
Go ahead.
So who maintains them? Who maintains them right now and cleans them up? Tanya.
Information I don't have, council member. So I see it on our annual plan, work plan, and I thought that it is something if we can work on it, it is something that we can achieve during this calendar.
I think that's an easy one. Yeah.
Right, I would agree. I would agree. Right now, the process with the collection that you have is that many of the pieces, it's, you know, hose it down a couple times a year, and that's Public Works that's doing that. But I don't think that that's the kind of maintenance that you're talking about. I think we're talking about probably, you know, repairing broken tiles and things like that. In most cases, the artist's contract gives them first right of refusal to do the work. So it would be a matter of determining what pieces in what order you think most need the work, contacting those artists and saying, this is what's, you know, broken or in need on the piece that you made. And, you know, would you be willing, give us a quote, that kind of thing. And then if they're not or able to, then staff would contact other providers to see who's able to make the repairs. I do know that there has been some discussion that has continued over from actually 2 years ago. I think that this body indicated an interest in doing some maintenance on the flute player, which is the sculpture that's in the middle of the pond at Civic Plaza. And so we are currently getting a price on repatina for that. But there certainly are other pieces that could be repaired during this slower period.
Thank you very much for the information taken.
You're
Based on
welcome.
what you explained, my understanding is that means we need to go physically out and take a look at existing artwork and see if it needs maintenance, and based on that we need to follow.
Right, somebody needs to go out and check on it. Yes, that's correct.
So with that, like looking at the present situation, I don't think that would be possible during this fiscal year.
It's going to be a challenge.
Challenge, yeah.
It might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any other contributions to this particular segment? Shall we move on?
I had a suggestion, since we are trying to find out what and how to beautify Milpitas. How about we, as council members, drive around, take pictures of what we are liking, or research a little bit on the web. And, you know, we've all traveled and we've seen different places, and maybe have a little bit of an idea what we want Milpitas, what thing we would like it to have. And that would be a starting point for us to finally research who we want to help us with beautifying Milpitas.
Okay, I think that's a great idea. And actually, I would suggest that you have a dialogue with Christina. She was part of a subgroup that was working on murals and trompe l'oeil and other beautification type approaches. Christina, does that make sense?
Yes, and Tegan, do we still have that information that Robin had? I think she was going to email it to you maybe and give us all the, we had a disc of.
I'm sorry, I didn't receive that.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
Christina, what I can do, I see Robin and I will ask her for it.
Yeah, if you could get that, that would be great.
Yeah, and I'll share that.
It's a great starting point. Yeah,
Yeah,
I could share that with her.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I'm going to move on. The city liaison reports. Tegan, do you have any anything you want to add?
I would encourage you to think about how you can be involved from an art standpoint virtually. I think that it will be a while before we can gather and do events in person. I know that we've been directed by council to pursue a virtual 4th of July rather than an event where people gather. So we are looking for creative ways to make people feel that they are together online. And I think that there's a place for the arts in those virtual events, and that would be something that we could have the commission's help with. And then again, I agree with you that the maintenance and things of that nature, cataloging the inventory properly, those are the kinds of things we can do right now.
Okay. Benjamin, I can see a change in your reaction as when it came to July the 4th. Maybe we can talk about that. Maybe there are some things we can do for virtually for July the 4th. Maybe we would start, Tegan, with finding out what resources we would have, not financial resources, but access to Mike and the IT, if we wanted to be involved in some way. Okay. The other thing, it's just more housekeeping than anything else, Tegan, and maybe it's not part of this commission discussion, but I was interested in knowing whether we have any applicants right now waiting in the back.
Yes, I checked with the city clerk this morning. They have one applicant for a student commissioner for next school year. And they have no applicants from adult commissioners, but as you noted, we are short. And so if you know of folks who would be a good addition to this group, we would really encourage you to have them apply.
Okay, now I'm confused because there was one individual that I had spoken with who actually did submit an application. So has it somehow gone astray?
I don't know. I know that as of today, when I checked with the city clerk, there were
Oh, you
no
froze.
adult applications.
Hmm.
So it's possible that your person either didn't submit or withdrew their application.
Okay. All right, I'll follow up then. Okay, and Carmen, I already brought up about the branding, but I do think that I'm hoping that at the next council meeting, we'll hear from Ashwini as the first steps in terms of branding for Milpitas. I've even been coming up with some titles. Milpitas proud.
Okay, that's nice. There's Milpitas strong, there's Milpitas cares, or Milpitas what?
No, Milpitas proud. Okay. Future agenda items. I've got a few future agenda items that I obviously an update and a first draft of a work plan for next year. I'd like we had it on our previous thing as a visit or an opportunity to see the mobile stage. And I don't know whether, Tegan, we can arrange for that, but I really would like to see that stage and what features it has. If we can't actually physically see it, maybe we can have an outline of its features,
Sure.
sound system, floor, etc. The other thing was we did ask for a public art fund update. We'll be at the end of June, so maybe through the end of June, roughly. And we've already talked about the Figueroa Park sculpture, so let's leave that off the future agenda items. Okay, last item, next meeting. I think I suggested Monday the 29th. Is there a conflict that anybody would have with that? That would be our typical Monday in June.
I think you're kind of constrained to the your regular meeting schedule. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So that is okay then. And surely nobody's traveling right now.
Well, you're the fourth Monday in June rather than the fifth Monday in June. So that would be the 22nd.
Oh, okay.
Would be your normal meeting day.
Okay. Well, is there any preference for anybody? Then let's make it the 22nd.
Sounds great.
Okay. All right. Well, any parting words? Will you all stay safe and healthy? Carmen, you look after yourself.
I'm just saying so tomorrow we're going to council has a special meeting for a budget briefing. And then on the 19th, we will have our budget hearing. So stay tuned.
What time is the special meeting tomorrow?
5 o'clock, I believe.
Okay.
Through Zoom, of course.
Yeah.
Everything's Zoom.
Can we join?
Yes. You,
Yeah,
you
I'm
can't,
pretty sure. Yeah, public has there's a public,
you can listen in.
section.
You can't actually participate, but you can listen in, Jada.
Okay, good.
The meetings are live streamed and then there's public comment accepted via an email address and somebody monitors that during the meeting.
So where do you go to see this?
Go to the city website
City website.
and search for streaming. It'll give you actually a department. It'll give you the actual connections. You can either go through the city, through Facebook, through YouTube.
Actually, I believe the top of your agenda that you received for tonight's meeting has the links. So you can watch it on Facebook or YouTube or our website. And those links will be good for council as well.
And I have to tell you, I honestly have to tell you, even though Carmen is here, that the council meetings they're crazy in comparison with this. Nobody remembers, they can't remember whether to, put the unmute or mute. This was very well organized. I can't believe it. Maybe it's because, we're, I shouldn't say it.
Don't say it.
Thank you very, very much, all of you. I really appreciate it. It's going to be a fun group. It's going to be a fun year, actually, next year.
So have you reached out to Kim? Remember Kim Chu, the artist?
It doesn't ring a bell, Carmen.
She's a school teacher. Her and I taught together. I remember I had invited her. She was
Yeah.
interested, but she had to go out of the country or on vacation, and so but she's interested in being on the commission.
Is she
But,
back now?
Yeah, she's back.
Okay.
But I'm just wondering if she was sent an application. Or if you've reached out to her.
I did speak with her. And I think I met with her too. And for some reason I think she was either traveling at the time or she just didn't get back to us. But I'll follow
Yeah,
up.
she was traveling,
Yeah.
but she's back now.
Okay.
Nobody's traveling nowadays, so.
Well, all of you look after yourselves. Take care, and the meeting is adjourned.
Same here.
One question.
Stay
Thank
safe,
you. I think there's a question.
everyone.
I'm sorry.
So I have a question before we adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
So we discussed that in next meeting, we may be planning to have VTA do some presentations. So
Yes.
is it something that we are planning?
I'm going to talk with Bob Nunez and see what he suggests, whether we bring them in or we get, I'm not sure. I'll talk with Bob and get his advice. One way or the other, there will be a discussion on BTA, on the pedestrian crossing as part of our agenda next 22nd.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. All right. Take care, everybody.
There you go.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. It was nice to see you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.